Welcome to the DCC Road Crew Horror, where I will run a dozen zero-level peasants through a joyous wedding turned blood-splattered nightmare. For you see, the Leddy and Whitegrass families are putting their centuries-long feud to rest as the young noble, Master Hort Leddy, and his elven beauty, Lady Nala Whitgrass, come together in marriage. Now, the party finds themselves at the reception of this joyous occasion, but tensions are still high, and one wrong move could throw the celebration into chaos. Unknown to the gathered families, something from their past is creeping up from the darkness, and it's only a matter of time before blood will be spilled. How many peasants, if any, will survive? They served Brandolyn Red. With that, welcome to They Served Brandolyn Red, a Dungeon Crawl Classics horror module, 0-level funnel. It is a gray autumn afternoon in the village of Portnell, but the residents are excited and festive. After years of petty feuding, two of the town's most prominent and influential families, the Leddys and the Whitegrass, are finally making peace as the young noble, Master Hort Leddy, takes the elven beauty, Lady Nala Whitgrass's hand in marriage. The entire town is in attendance, and you all find your eyes moist with tears of joy. The lanky Father Geralt ornates a booming voice, "And they consume this wine, symbolizing their spirit. May Lady Nala and Master Hort become one, whereby only death itself may come between them." The young couple give each other a loving kiss and begin drinking from the two ornate wine goblets. Cheers erupt from the crowd, and the newlyweds look at each other blissfully. Before you notice, Lady Nala starts to cough and sputter. She drops her cup where it smashes, spilling its dark contents across the ground. Suddenly, creatures resembling ants the size of men burst up from the earth, and all around, joyful cheers begin transforming into screams. To your left, you see Farmer Toto's bald, sunburned head get clamped between the mandibles of one of these creatures, and with a revolting pop, it explodes like rotted pumpkins, spattering those around him with skull and blood. You're horrified to see more of these creatures skittering through the crowd, decapitating and disemboweling guests indiscriminately. Turning back to the newlyweds, you see one of the beasts grip Master Hort's neck between his mandibles. Father Geralt desperately pummels the Ant-Man with his fist, but a sickening crunch! The beast clamps its pincers tightly around, popping the young nobleman's head savagely from his torso before scampering back into the forest with its bloody prize in his clutches. As you reach down for your dagger, your hand finds only an empty scabbard, as you now remember that how weapons were banned from the ceremony. Panic grips the crowd as the chittering beasts continue to rip through the wedding courtyard. All right. At this point, you guys don't have any weapons. You can come up with something depending on what your background of your character may be that they may have on them that's not considered necessarily a weapon but can be used as an improvised weapon. Or this is a wedding with all sorts of celebratory things going on. Whatever you could think of that might be at a wedding, we can come up with that you can possibly look around quickly and grab.
So, roughly how many gigantic ants have emerged from the ground?
There is about four, or actually at this point, yeah, about 6 or 7 giant ants still remaining. Some of them have, lobbed off a body part of somebody and taken it and disappeared, but there are still 6 or 7 of them still running around.
Jeez. And did I see anyone? Is Brandolyn at the?
No, Brandolyn is the wife of one of the other vintners, Gage Vintner. She died, years and years and years ago, and her husband, in her honor, basically made a wine. He was a vintner. His name was Gage Vintner. He made wines and stuff like that. So he had made a wine called Brandolyn Red, which is where the name of the module comes from.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, so we will go ahead and start with Blue. You got 3 characters. What are your 3 characters doing?
You said we had no weapons, but what could we find? Did they cut the cake with a knife? Is there utensils?
Yep, you can absolutely assume that there are some utensils and things of that nature. And I think for
I
the
got
elven barrister, like you start with a quill as a dart, you would probably have that on you because a quill wouldn't be necessarily used as a weapon.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'll just... Because these guys are pretty squishy, at least two of them. The navigator and the barrister will attempt to find something to throw. I guess the barrister can throw his quill as a dart.
All right. So again, there are scampering around. There's probably at least one ant coming in your direction.
Yes, I would obviously be targeting that one.
Okay. So for that, if you want to roll your quill, all you do is double click to open your character sheet, go to the tab that says equipment, and there you've got it. All right, a 17 is a mighty blow for 1 point of damage, and this sticks into the hard carapace of the ant, and you see your quill now sticking out of its head as it's still coming towards you.
Yeah. And so could the navigator find something, or he will punch with his hands if he can't find anything to throw?
Go ahead and, I mean, yeah, there's general knives and cutlery. You can see, think of chairs and whatever else you can possibly think of that you could smash and make a club out of. Whatever your imagination has.
The navigator is pretty squishy, so he'll back off and try to do a missile attack of some sort. I have a short bow equipped. Can you roll for that?
He wouldn't have the short bow with him, so I could say that he could pick up a utensil of some sort and throw it. So just go ahead and you can attack with the short bow, but we'll assume that it is a utensil of some sort.
All right.
Fork or knife.
So how do I do? Can I roll a d6 though?
That's fine. Just go ahead and roll it.
Nah, it doesn't matter anymore.
A 9. A 9 is going to miss, and it just tings off of the ant's hard body.
All right. The artisan's got a little more HP. He's going to run up and get like a makeshift club of some sort and attack with that.
All right.
Like maybe a leg of a chair or something he can break.
There you go. He grabs a chair, runs over to the creature, and smashes the creature across the head with this chair, shattering the chair over its head. He now has a chair leg to use as a club. And go ahead and roll me that d4 there.
So so I click it again for the critical?
Actually, in the chat, you can see where it says critical hit, and underneath it says inflict an additional d4 of damage with this strike. You can click directly on that, and oh yeah, you just obliterate this ant. As you smash this ant, you get the smell of, like, it's oozing its blood out of it, or what would be blood out of this creature. It smells like garlic almost that is leaking out of this creature. It has a very garlicky smell to it. All right. Good round for blue. All right, red. Your blacksmith, halfling mariner, and outlaw. How are they reacting?
They have weapons, but in this scenario, they don't have weapons, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Unless you think there's some reason why the blacksmith would bring his hammer to the wedding.
Yes. The blacksmith is a burly fellow, so he's just going to run up and try and hit them with his bare hands.
Okay.
Go for a solid punch.
All right.
Yes, that's a miss.
With a 2, that'll definitely be a miss there as he goes to strike.
Are there like vases at this wedding?
You could definitely find a vase to kind of go and just throw at one if you'd like, or smash one over the head with it.
Exactly. I wanna throw a vase.
Okay.
Would that be agility?
Yep, that'd be agility. With a 9, you throw a vase, and the ant kind of dodges out of the way, and you hear the vase shatter across the ground behind it.
Okay. And the outlaw.
Tell you what, since it's an outlaw, I'll let you do a luck check to see if she somehow snuck her short sword in.
I mean, I would be fine with knife, but if you want to go as far as short sword, I'm good with that.
All right, go ahead and give me a luck check and see if she's able to sneak it in.
No.
Nope, wasn't able to sneak the short sword in.
Well, she is, because she's an outlaw, even though she has average intelligence, I'll say she's a bit dumber. So she'll do the same thing the blacksmith does, and just go in for a solid punch.
All right, an 18, very good. Go ahead and, as she is fairly, an outlaw, a bit more with her fists, go ahead and just roll a d4 for that.
Okay.
And the strength is +2, so that'll be actually 6 points of damage to that ant. And you see this ant kind of stumble backwards and collapse to the ground. She took out another ant.
Ooh. Good.
All right, that's 2 ants down as we move on to purple. Our dock worker, urchin, and halfling moneylender.
Yes. So the dock worker is going to run up and find the nearest bottle of champagne.
Okay.
And smash it across one of these ants' heads.
All right.
Roll a
strength check. Since it's a melee.
Strength check.
All right. You go and swing, and the bottle doesn't break, but it just kind of bounces off this hard creature's carapace and kind of like knocks you back with one of its legs.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shame. The urchin is going to try and find a basically break apart a chair, much like the other character did, and try and whack the same one. I think I rolled twice by mistake. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. The first one's the 10. Again,
yes.
Picks up the chair, maybe a little bit less strength. Again, just bounces off of these creatures' chitinous hide.
And here the halfling has been skirting around the room, going over all the tables, picking up little saucers and like small plates, and he's going to try and fling one like a frisbee at the nearest ant.
All right.
Agility?
Yep.
Oh!
All right, you guys are starting out good. Another natural 20. So go ahead and roll me the D4 for the base damage.
Oh, sorry. There you go.
So 2 points of damage, and go ahead and try and remember for 0 level characters. Yep, you guys have fleeting luck, so remember that. Go ahead and roll me the, I think it's a D6 for a crit on a 0 level. D4, okay. Sorry, D4.
Ah, shit.
That's all right. We'll roll with it. You rolled a 4 on your D4. Okay. Strike to the foe's kneecap. Roll another D4 for me as the damage, it suffers additional damage from that strike. All right. That will be enough combined to take down our third ant. So 3 ants down. Yes. Still a couple more scurrying around. And now it is their turn. So the ants are going to go up and strike. You guys are able to move your characters after this as well. So if you want to kind of use your top of the screen as front of your marching order, bottom of the screen as back of your marching order in the future when you want to do that. But right now, going up, basically the 3 at the top of the marching order are the 3 that are going to get attacked. So for the first one versus blue, an ant comes to attack you. And these guys have +0 to their attack, which that's just good. That is an 8 to hit your elven artisan. Looks like that misses. So misses.
Yes.
Second one is going to attack at the, is that the blacksmith? I believe a 13 hits your blacksmith. Yep. And he will take 1d4 of damage. He will suffer, oh no, 4 points of damage. I think the blacksmith is dead. All right, and then versus the dock worker, the next ant kind of goes up and is actually going to back up. You see it kind of go up on its hind legs, and you start to see this liquid ooze out of its mouth as it spits acid at you.
My God.
That is going to be a 14.
That's a hit, yeah.
But only for 1 point of damage.
That's okay.
So, and as this acidic spray comes out at you, it smells like sulfur and rotten eggs. Is this terrible odor that comes at you? And with that, we are back up to you guys. Blue, there's still the 3 ants. You had 1 attack your artisan.
All right. We'll have the artisan immediately attack with his club to retaliate for these ants. Smells garlicky.
Oh yeah, 15 for another point of damage as you smack this ant in the head.
All right, so yeah, he's got the. Then the barrister's going to go up and pick his quill out of the other ant that he hit and throw the quill at the same one that's coming at us. Ooh, got one.
Back-to-back hits, so that is going to be another point of damage.
All right, and then following suit, the artisan, who was like big and strong but got 1 HP, so he's going to he'll be a little bit, he'll stand in front of the old man, but he's not getting far. But he will throw his fork, salad fork, I think it was. It's not good with stuff like this. At the ant.
Well, it was good enough for another 2 points of damage, and you guys take out this ant. 4 ants down.
Excellent.
All right. Next, let's see. Of the 3 characters in the other family, one of them comes to your aid there. So which one's coming to your aid, Red? The con artist, the miller baker, or the minstrel?
One moment. I guess I'll take the. I kind of want the minstrel. Yeah, I'm not going to cheese it. I could go for the miller baker, but I'm going to go for the minstrel.
Okay, so the minstrel comes and joins your party. All right. All right, you're up. Your ant is currently trying to bite off the arm of the blacksmith.
The halfling mariner is a bit distraught seeing his friend get torn to shreds. So he just lunges at him with the closest chair he can find.
All right.
I believe that's a strength check.
Yep. That is a 10. A 10 against the ant will miss.
Okay. I'm going to say the minstrel. He won't be running up and attacking face to face. He will do the same thing he saw the other halfling do, and he'll grab a plate and throw it at the ant.
All right.
Would that be ranged into combat?
Not for this one. It'll be fine. Just go ahead and make an agility check. Oh no! Natural 1. All fleeting luck is lost.
Wait, even my allies fleeting luck?
Everybody's fleeting luck goes away on a natural 1.
Ooh, sorry about that.
That's all right. Go ahead and roll me a d4.
There's the d4.
3. Your weapon comes loose in your hand. Well, you threw a plate, so your plate's gone anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So your fumble's not too bad. All right, and your outlaw.
She's off in another spot, so she's also gonna grab a chair and try and smash that into an ant.
All right, with a 7 though, it'll be a miss. It breaks over the ant, but doesn't seem to do any damage, so she's still remaining with a club.
Can she grab the chair foot leg?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she can take the leg of the chair, and yeah, she'll have a club on her now.
Yeah.
All right, purple. Your dock worker, urchin, and halfling moneylender. The dock worker having taken some damage from that acid.
Yeah. See the fleeting luck. I know we don't have any left, but how does that work? Is that like a collective pool that we can draw from to use like normal luck?
No, the way it works, if you look on the left-hand side of the screen, you should see a little, what looks like a set of scales. If you highlight that, it says fleeting luck, and you click on it, it'll show how much fleeting luck everybody has. When you roll a natural 20, or if I think you guys do something that's, good roleplay, funny, whatever I can, give you fleeting luck for, you'll gain fleeting luck. That luck you can burn, and it doesn't take from your normal luck pool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Well, good to know for next time. So the dock worker is going to try again. Disgusted by this thing on it, this liquid on his face, he'll swing at the thing with a bottle of champagne.
Mighty blow with the bottle of champagne is going to go ahead and kill that creature. It absolutely just smashes this creature's head in, and the 5th ant goes down.
And how many ants are left?
Still 1 ant left.
Okay. The urchin is going to rush over to it with its chair leg and try and batter it. No way, another critical.
Rolling well. All right. Chair leg smashes this creature, and it's strike to the forehead. Go ahead and roll that d3 for the additional damage. And that is going to be a total of 3 points of damage. I think this one already took a little bit, and that one goes down as well. All 6 of the ants that were remaining are dead. The 7th has taken the body part of one of the other wedding goers and disappeared off into the woods. All right, we lost one party member in that. So as the battle finishes, you hear everyone start to kind of like gather themselves and collect themselves. And Leddy, the brother of the groom, rushes up with hysteria in his eyes. He says, "His head has been taken! For the love of Coronis! The thing took my brother's head!" And a strong, booming human voice booms out, "This was your doing!" And you see Hedrick Leddy, father of the groom, the town noble, and stab an accusatory finger at Leddy Whitegrass, the bride's uncle. "You never approved of the marriage, and now these elven conjured insects fiends have taken my son's head. You and your kind will pay." "Liar!" retorts Lormond, accompanied by a highly offensive derogatory term that elves rarely call humans to their face. "It was you who tried to poison Lady Nala. I will make your puny human lifespan even shorter if you do not retract your accusation." And a scuffle breaks out as they kind of begin to punch and wrestle each other as a fight is going on. And the rest of the wedding party is trying to come to terms with what just happened. Helping Lady Nala, you see that a couple family members have rushed over to her, and she seems to be in and out of consciousness at this point. And those in the Whitegrass family who speak Elven recognize that she's basically keeps saying, "Oh, my poor sweet Hort" in Elvish, and then, you know, losing consciousness again. And then she'll come back into consciousness and then repeat that. Master Hort Leddy, is his body lays there headless on the ground. The father rushes over to him now, seeming to put their squabble aside for the meantime, and he looks up at the other Leddys and the rest of the party who seems to be looking, and say, "This attack was orchestrated by Leddy and Whitegrass. I will have my revenge. In the meantime, I implore you, seek out Master Lord Hetty's head and bring it back to me, and you will be rewarded handsomely." And you see Lady Wichella Leddy, the groom's mother, seems a bit distraught as well. You can see at the words of her husband, the fact that the Whitegrass are responsible for this. She seems to look in her eyes that she doesn't quite believe that, but she won't say anything against her husband. Definitely not in front of him. You see Leddy and Whitegrass, the bride's father, run over to Nala. He seems a bit more quiet at this point and a little bit despondent, and he seems to be fretting over the welfare of his daughter. And since Purple, you are of the Dragon Tier, Dragon Tier family, you see and catch just a little bit of distraught on his face, and you see like one milky tear coming down his cheek, and feel a deep sorrow, and feel that you have been called upon by greater power to help Lotrin in any way that you possibly can. Lotrin looks a bit confused and frightened, but he offers a reward for the return of Hort's remains. "I, too, will offer a reward if you are able to recover Hort's head and bring it back. Additionally, if you find any other remains, please bring those back as well, as I may be able to offer a reward for any other remains you find. Along with any bottles of Brandolyn Red, I will offer you double the going rate." You guys know that the going rate of Brandolyn Red is about 35 gold pieces. He's willing to pay double. And then lastly is Leddy Whitegrass, the bride's uncle. You see him standing over all the commotion, not seeming as concerned, and then says, "It's a blessing he's been killed. Can you imagine the abomination their offspring would have produced? A half-human, half-elf monstrosity, a freak of nature." And seems to kind of walk away at this point. At this point, too, Father Geralt comes up and he begins praying. And anybody is hurt. I think the dice worker is the only one that is dock worker, not dice worker. We're all dice workers. The dock worker and offers to do a lay of hands on any injured party members currently. So with that, the dock worker just puts you back up to your 2 HP. As he comes and lays hands on you. He lays hands on a couple other wounded members of the wedding ceremony. And afterwards he says, Coronus must be displeased with me. Did not do enough to stop these attackers. I must now go cleanse away my sins. And he heads off towards the church temple to go pray and earn some forgiveness from his Lord. All right. So at this point, you guys can look around, and again, you see and you can smell from the dead ants that garlicky smell. From the area where the acid spray was, you smell that sulfuric rotten eggs smell. And you guys notice that there are a few trails of blood leading out of basically the large hall that you're in and out into the town square and heading off out of town.
Is there holes in the floor where these things erupted?
The holes that they came out of seem to have collapsed behind them. They weren't very stable.
Okay. And just in inspecting the bodies, is there anything else I notice about these ants other than the fact they smell of garlic?
Not really. They look like fairly mundane ants, but something has caused them to grow to human size. You don't see like an intelligence in their eyes of any kind. You don't see, any kind of like opposable appendages or anything of that kind of nature. They're just very, very large, and yet their innards have a strange smell of garlic.
Okay. Well, my dock worker and halfling moneylender are both very much committed to finding Hort's remains and bringing them back. Some for noble reasons, others for reasons of wanting money. So,
yeah, my elves are all they're pretending they're not in it for the money, but at least 2 of them are really in it for the money. But they're ready to go.
All right. So as the party,
should we just follow those blood stains, or do you want to look at anything else here? I think
Yeah, I mean, we could ask around. They claim that it was caused by somebody. We all think that's just fake, right? We're just gonna.
Yeah, that guy just sounded like he had a bone. He had like a grudge. Like he would blame anything on the elves. It sounded like.
Yeah, let's stick to the facts. You're right. Let's stick to the blood trail.
My guys are definitely suspicious, but they don't know who it might be just yet.
All right. Well, then you guys are able to follow the blood trail fairly easily. These, ants aren't trying to hide their trail. So not only can you follow some of the disturbance from their footpaths, but you also are able to easily follow the blood being left behind. So as you travel further from Port Nell, the path becomes overgrown with weeds, thistles, and dead sage. The trees eventually thin out, giving way to row upon row of withered vines that once flourished in the abandoned Longbow vineyards. An ancient path leads through the middle of the vineyards towards a collection of decrepit buildings, and a smaller path leads deeper into the dark, tangled fields of brambles, which you can only imagine once served as grapevines. You guys would also know that the Longbow Vineyards was the vineyard of, Gage Vintner, the one who made Brandolyn Red. And as you guys approach, basically the road kind of splits off in 2 paths. The path to the left leads more towards what looks like a large building past a pond of some sort. The road to the right seems like it kind of circles around. And then both paths seem to merge together on the far side of all these fields at a couple buildings out in the distance. Perhaps once long ago, the twisted rows of grapevines were manicured and cultivated by vineyard workers, but now only tangled mass of thick vines pregnant with tumorous growths of dark, heavy fruit remains. So the vineyards have actually grown and gotten thick, so the two paths that lead, one to the left, one to the right, are overgrown to the point where you kind of have to squeeze between the bushes a little bit. And you can see that still growing on the vines are bushels of, you know, dark-looking berries, grapes, or something else possibly. So you have two directions you can go, left or right.
Did we check our weapons, or are we just completely weaponless? Because I'd like a bow. That's what I'll say. I would say to the crowd, it's like, hey, do we have any weapons around here? Because
I could say that before you left town, you could go collect the weapons that you would have had in town anyways, because you'd be staying here for the wedding.
Okay.
Yep. So you guys have your weapons back on you.
My minstrel would like to take a close look at those dark fruits.
Okay.
Open one up, get a smell of it. What's it like?
You pick one off, and it's probably, it looks like a grape, just very, very dark. Cut it open, and it has a sweet yet tart smell to it.
It does it look rotting?
It does not look rotted.
He's gonna take a bite out of it, try and get a good taste.
You taste one, and it tastes quite delicious, actually. You probably feel like you'd want to eat more of them.
No odd suspicion after like a few minutes.
Nope.
And then he'll collect a few for later.
All right.
And he'll continue with the rest of the group.
All right. Go ahead and roll me a luck check. Nope. No benefit from the grapes at this time.
Yeah. The lowest luck.
All right. With that,
my urchin is going to try a grape.
okay. Go ahead and give me a luck
Will
check if you
he
try a
get to
grape.
roll a luck check?
Yep.
Ah, frig.
No, they're delicious grapes. Very refreshing. Again, a bit tart, but good.
The halfling's gonna eat one.
All right.
Okay.
The halfling gains 2 temporary hit points.
Oh wow. Very nice. So my halfling is feeling braver than ever. Is going to say, we should check that building to see if there's any bottles of Brandolyn Red. We can bring it back for big money.
All right. Everybody in agreement?
I think we should get the head first and then get the wine on the way out. I don't want to have to haul the wine and fight a bunch of ants.
I agree with that.
Ah, the halfling's very annoyed, but he agrees. It is sensible. We'll go the
Also,
other
that way
now.
we don't drink any.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm happy to go the other direction.
Hearing this, the halfling mariner starts saying, maybe we could get like one bottle. I'm a bit thirsty.
I think whoever said get it on the way back is right. Because we might smash it if we're trying to fend off ants at the same time.
Oh yeah, the rest of my party completely agrees. He just wants a drink right now because mentioned.
Could use some liquid
You
courage.
didn't have enough to drink at the wedding. We were all drinking tons.
When is there ever enough drink?
Halflings.
Okay.
All right, so we have a path left, leads to a pond. Beyond the pond is a building. The path to the right circles around. Looks like from in the distance, it looks like there's possibly a statue in a clearing on the path to the right.
We should go to the right. Although, wait, so do we have a sense of where the blood trails lead, left or right?
The blood trail more or less leads straight through the vines. So there's a bit, you guys would have a struggle to cut your way through the vines and follow the blood path directly.
Yeah.
The paths themselves are overgrown, so you kind of have to go like single file and push the vines out of the way, but you're able to at least follow the path.
Okay. Well, in that case, we can go to either. My dock worker suggests we go towards the statue. It looks a straightforward path, and we can get round the other side and maybe see where the ants have dragged these bodies to.
The elves agree.
One of my guys, the outlaw question: how difficult would it be to cut through these vines with a short sword?
It would take you some time, but he could go up there and make one hack at the vines and see that his short sword cuts through it fairly well. But going up the path would just take a bit longer and slow you down.
We could go through.
Halfling Moneylender actually has a short sword too and offers to help if we want to do that.
Would that speed up the pathway to short swords?
I would say maybe a little bit. Going up the middle between the two roads, following through the vines, would still take you twice the time it would take you to take the roads.
Okay.
But you'd avoid anything else that might be there. Although there could be something hiding in the vines. I don't know.
I feel like that's an incentive for us to not go through the vines because stuff land on the sides.
Yes.
So, we go through or we go around?
My characters want to go around, and my halfling has sort of realised how long it's taken. He's like, "Fuck this! I want to go around."
All right.
What about boxy guys?
The elves they're not going to do any sort of like lawn care if that's what you're asking. But we'll follow whoever.
Looks like we're going around.
All right. So the halfling who started taking off and heading to the right. All right. So you start heading around to the right. As you guys are making your way along, the path opens into a clearing, which is dominated by an ancient 10-foot tall statue. The statue is almost completely covered in vines and is carved to resemble a tree trunk, which transforms into the torso of a woman extending her arms upwards. Her compassionate eyes look down upon you. All right, I think we have a minstrel. We have a gravedigger. Now we have a dock worker and an urchin. No cleric, but we do have some vintners with us. So with that, the minstrel, you recognize this statue as the goddess Ildavir, goddess of nature.
My minstrel will start reciting everything he knows about Ildavir in a sing-songy way because he's a minstrel.
All right, go ahead and give me a personality check.
Let's see.
Your descriptions and your song comes out well. Everyone around you feels a bit set at ease by that, but no additional benefit from that role. Does anybody else want to try to do anything? They've told you the minstrel has sung a song about Ildavir. You now know that this is a goddess of nature. Anybody else want to do anything with the statue?
I mean, who's the smart one? My artisan would like to just check it and see if there's anything out of the ordinary or trapdoory or anything like that. We're elves too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. 0 levels have all that trapdoor knowledge.
Yeah, elves would still get their check regardless for trapdoors. So just go ahead and give me an intelligence check.
Hold on. On the tab.
15. Looking at this does look like it was at one point one solid log that's been carved into this shape. So you don't see anything out of the ordinary that would signify any kind of trapdoor or hidden cache.
Looks good. I don't think there's anything else.
So yeah, that is it. That's basically all you see here. And then the path continues to the north. It looks like it's going to turn up ahead a little bit and start heading towards a large building in the distance.
I would like to do one more thing.
Okay.
How big is the statue?
The statue itself is 10 feet tall.
Okay. Well, my outlaw is suspicious of these kind of things, and she starts trying to force her way through the thing. She tries to cut it open.
Okay. Makes a couple like hacks at the wood.
Yeah.
All right.
That's not.
Hacks into the wood a couple times. Again, the bottom of it is just a tree trunk. It's the top half. That's the upper body of a woman. So as you start hacking into the bottom, you can see like pieces of wood starting to chunk and fall off of it. It's been here abandoned for quite a while. You're cutting through vines, cutting into the wood, and you can see as the wood comes off that what's inside the wood looks like it's a bit dry. It's been here for a good amount of time and has not been maintained or cared for. So it's even possibly starting to get a little bit of rot inside. But you don't notice anything else.
The last thing she'll do is she'll, because it's carved in a woman, it should be thinner at the neck. Can't you try and cut like the statue's head off?
That's almost 10 feet up ahead of you, so I would need a basically an agility check to climb up. And then how you do on that will make your attack. So you'll get I'll say a +2 on that attack to try to chop the head off of this thing.
With strength?
Yep. Yeah.
That's
So 17. You're able to climb up, position yourself on the arms that are reaching up, and able to cleave the head off of this thing. It comes off pretty easy. As we said, it kind of is older and has been weathered. So the head comes off and plops down and lands on the ground. And suddenly you hear in your head this like ringing, and a voice says, "Beware! Samhain has perturbed the bones of a great evil and must be put down." And then it goes quiet.
Great evil. So she looks at the decapitated wooden head. Does it feel light? Does it feel hollow? Is it kind of brittle?
It's a bit brittle. It does feel somewhat light, but it doesn't feel hollow. If you like shake it around, you don't hear anything shaking around inside of it. It just feels like old wood.
And there's no weird marks on it, maybe on the back, some kind of an emblem.
No, nothing, anything that stands out to you.
Well, since she went to the effort of cutting it down, she's not just going to leave it. She'll put it in her backpack.
All right.
And continue on.
All right. As you guys continue to claw your way through, unless anybody else had anything else to do there.
No.
Okay. So as you continue,
Slightly disturbed at what just happened, but otherwise, no.
Right. As you continue to claw your way through the thick brambles, you notice the remains of a large creature, perhaps a deer or one of those giant beavered bear creatures you've heard about. It's blocking the path, but it appears desiccated, and its skeletal bones peek through parts of its withered flesh.
My dock worker take a closer look and poke at it with his pole.
All right, you start poking at it. As you go up and investigate it and start poking at it, you start to notice too, the rest of you, as you're kind of looking around, that some of the grapes growing in this row look slightly darker than the others you've seen, perhaps a different variety. And as you're poking around at the dead creature, it does seem to be that it died here. And it looks like when it died, its flesh was basically torn apart by whatever killed it here. And we don't have an alchemist, a forester, or a farmer, so I don't have to worry about that. All right, so as you guys are looking around, suddenly the vines almost animate and grab at you. So, with that, I'm going to roll a d3 for which family gets hit here. So, blue, red, purple. Looks like it's going to be purple. And purple, who is your lowest luck?
So it's either the moneylender or the urchin.
Okay, so
one or the other.
We'll say since the urchin's further up your marching order, it'll be against him. So the vines reach out and attempt to wrap around him. The urchin, that is a 9 to hit.
That hits.
That hits. All right. With that, you'll take a D3 of damage. That's 2 points of damage.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And he is wrapped up and tangled into the vines. All right. And then the two in the front of the marching order, the elven artisan and the halfling mariner, looking around. Go ahead and give me a fort save. So that is the elven artisan and the halfling mariner fort saves. 6 and a 4. Both of you, all of a sudden, like one of the fruits like pops in your face, and the basically lets out this small little gas that hits you in the face, and both of your characters fall asleep for 3 hours, unless woken up. But this pops, and both of them, you see both of them kind of stumble a little bit and then collapse to the ground and begin snoring. All right, with that, we are up to blue. You still got your elven artisan is now asleep, your navigator, and your barrister. What are they doing?
All right, barrister's the old man. He's got intelligence 3. He's very confused as the artisan. What? Why is he asleep right now? And he'll just reaction, take a step back, and throw his quill at the thing that seems to attack his friend.
All right.
Or, I wouldn't say friend. We were. Huh?
A 12. A 12 versus this creature is enough to hit. It's going to do 3 points of damage.
Now, my navigator's got 13 of intelligence. I would like him to wake up the artisan, but I'll roll if you don't think he'd think of that.
You see him fall asleep, and yeah, he could easily run over. And I mean, it looks like he's snoring, so he assumes he's asleep and goes to try to wake him up. So go ahead and just give me a strength check to shake him awake. 14. You shake, and he seems to start to kind of come back into consciousness. He'll be able to act on the next turn.
Excellent.
All right, Red. Your halfling mariner falls asleep, and your minstrel and outlaw, what are they doing?
The minstrel is a very caring, sociable fellow. So he runs over to the halfling, trying to wake him up, saying that we need you for this.
All right, go ahead and give a strength check to shake him awake then. 5, yeah, he goes over and shakes, but kind of just grabs some of his clothes and shakes his clothes, but doesn't shake him specifically, so you don't see him waking up on this turn.
Minstrels aren't known for their strength. They have a very light touch.
All right, what's your outlaw doing?
The outlaw looks at the minstrel and is like, pathetic, just leave him. And she lunges at the vines with her short sword.
All right. That is definitely going to hit. 19 for 5 points of damage. And you slash through a few of the vines. You can still see the urchin being kind of like pulled deeper into the vineyard. But you've slashed through a few of the vines, causing some damage. And you see like the vines around it that you've just hacked through kind of coil away like the tail of a snake that's just been hit. All right, Purple, what's our dice worker, or I keep saying dice worker, dock worker doing?
Dark Worker, reacting to this horrible turn of events, he's got a lantern on him, and I think he's going to try and no, actually, I don't know if that's a good idea. Right. Well, first of all, can I go for the moneylender?
Yeah,
moneylender's going to run up, the halfling moneylender, and it's going to slash at those vines with his short sword.
Okay. Man, keep it going. Keep it going. All right. So that is another 5 points of damage as you slash through more of these vines. And
am I making any headway?
You've definitely cut through a few of them. They're starting to coil and pull back. Like even like the overgrowth of the road is starting to pull back a little bit, and you're starting to see a little bit more clearer path ahead of you, leading toward what looks like a large barn-like building. With that,
my urchin.
Go ahead.
Oh, is it okay? All right, go ahead.
No. So with that, your urchin is up. You've slashed through a few of the vines.
Oh, Oh, right. I thought you were going to say we'd won and it was all fine. So my urchin, can he try to escape the grasp
Yep.
with a strength check?
Yep, so that'll be a strength check. It's a opposed strength check. So a 6 versus
Good
its strength
God.
check.
Terrible.
And it rolls a 14. So it holds you in place. And he takes
And then my dock worker is going to bravely...
Your
Oh, go
urchin
ahead.
takes
Sorry.
1 point of damage from
Oh, he's dead.
struggling
Never mind.
against the vines. So you see the urchin scream out in pain, then go silent and be dragged off into the distance, never to be seen again.
Yep. He's dead.
All right.
Okay. My dock worker?
Yep.
He's going to do the well, seeing now that his dear comrade, the urchin, is dead, he's going to do the idea he initially had, which is going to rip open the lantern, throw all the oil of it into the vines, and then strike a match and throw it in.
All right. I'll say you can quickly do that. Go ahead and just give me a agility check.
Can I spend some luck if this is...
Yeah, you could spend some luck on this. I would say with this, like, you're able to pour it, and a 10, you'd basically just hit the very edges along the road.
Okay. Well, can I spend a combination of fleeting and permanent luck?
Yeah, if you have it, you absolutely can.
Yeah, so he's going to spend 2 fleeting luck, and then he's also going to spend 3 permanent luck.
All right, so that brings you up to a 15. With that, as you throw the lamp oil, it sprays all over the vines to, let's say, the east side, the left side of the road, and he lights up his match and throws his match in there, and it all of a sudden burns up, and you can see a bunch of the vines now on fire. You can almost, you swear, you hear a squealing of pain coming from these vines as they start to recoil and pull away from the road. The path ahead of you now looks much clearer.
Run!
All right. With that, the vines on their turn are going to recoil and pull away. So now with you guys staying here or going to start making a run for it?
My dock worker is going to panic run. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna run for it. Unfortunately, not thinking about the sleeping guy.
Forgot that guy's still asleep.
Yeah, we'll put the little there we go, sleep icon on him. He's asleep. We'll come back to him in what did I say, 3 hours, and see if he's woken up yet or not. All right.
My guys would. I mean, the minstrel would attempt to awaken him again.
You absolutely can. Give him another strength check just to shake him awake.
This time he's a little annoyed because he was berated by the outlaw, so he starts slapping the halfling.
There you go. Slap him right across the face, and he comes back up, and he wakes back up. All right. He's a little perturbed, his face hurting now. But you guys are all able to get together and take off up the path a bit further. So as you guys make your way up, you come to an opening and you see two things. To the left, out ahead of you, you see what looks like a large barn of some sort. And to the right, you see what looks like basically a large stone, like 10 foot in diameter stone that blocks what looks like the entrance to a cavern. So you have the barn and then this stone doorway blocking the entrance to a cavern.
So, those blood marks again, or yeah.
From here, it looks like the blood marks you do not see at this time.
I mean, I'm not. Does it look like we could possibly move the stone? I think the barn seems like the easy answer. Elves.
Yeah, the stone is quite large. It's round, so it looks like it's meant to be rolled out of the way. But again, it's like 10 feet in diameter.
Is there like some decent like trunks on the ground nearby? Some big branches?
No, it doesn't look like there's any trees or anything of that nature. Basically, everything around you is all vineyards. So it's vines, maybe some very small branches from a few different things, but you don't see any large branches or tree-like trunks or anything like that.
You said there was a barn nearby, didn't you?
Yeah, so out ahead of you is a barn, and you probably make out just on the other side of the barn, there's another structure.
Could the outlaw walk over and grab a plank of wood, come back?
Absolutely, you could try, yeah. The barn itself, it's... Where is my descriptions there? There we go. The barn itself is in decent condition, but again, this has all been unused for quite some time. So I could say that go ahead and just give me a luck check to see if there's a board that it can pull off. Nope. As you go over there, you go to pull off one board, and it's like too rotted, and it just breaks off in like a foot-long section. So not much you think you could do with it. It feels brittle and weak to itself. You assume most of the rest of the wood is in a similar condition.
Oh.
Can my halfling creep up to that exact area where the
Outlaw?
red player was, and then try to peek through the hole in the barn wall and listen and see anything with his infravision?
Yeah, you can definitely do that. So as you kind of sneak over there and try to peer inside, there's a decent amount of light. It seems like there is quite a bit of holes in the ceiling that are letting light in, and some couple windows that are open. So looking inside, you see rotted tables, some broken flasks, and an assortment of bottling equipment litter the area. There seems to be 3 large clay containers, kind of like half buried in the dirt. And in the center, you see what looks to be a large wine press dominating most of the shop. The contraption consists of a huge stone wheel that seems to roll on a circular stone trough. The wheel is turned by a stout wooden beam. Even after all these years, you can tell that the floor around the basin is worn smooth from the feet of those who once labored here, crushing the fruit. The area is very dusty and cobwebbed.
It's just tell the rest of the group. It looks like it's the wine making shed. Couldn't see any signs of movement in there, but might be worth a deeper check.
Did you say it was active looking? The elves are curious about the wine, if it's old and dusty.
Peering through, he couldn't tell if it looks like it's currently being used. Where he was looking like towards the edges, and that looked pretty dusty and cobwebbed. But the area around the base of the wine press, he could just make out looks much smoother than everything around it. Like the floor has been worn smooth by years and years of using the wine press and walking around pushing the wheel.
Curious. The halfling will also say, "Oh well, looks like there's a few clay jars in there. Could contain some old wine. I know, a good vintage, perhaps."
The elves want to explore. They don't really think about your ground wine as much as you do. But yeah, they're like, we got nowhere else to go. I don't want to move that rock. We at least got to figure out if those weird ants came through here.
Yes.
Yeah. They want to see if there's some wine in there, so they'll go in as well.
All right. So heading into the wine, who are the first people to head inside the barn?
Elven Artisan will go first.
Okay.
Halfling Moneylender can go after that.
All right.
And Halfling Mariner, because he's the one who wants to drink the most.
All right. So as you guys head in, you immediately feel unsettled as you enter the long abandoned winemaking facility. So what you see inside, that is what you see inside. These large ceramic jars look like they're for holding wine while it ferments. So while most of the area is dusty and cobwebbed, the wheel itself seems to be stained with fresh, dark red liquid. And someone has painted the face of a human woman, beautiful but anguished, onto the face of the stone wheel. Tears resembling blood drip down her crying face and collect in the basin below.
Anybody have any jars or bottles?
Just open up one of those big jugs and hop in. I would open one of the big containers to like take a sniff of the wine that's fermenting.
All right. As you go to investigate them, it looks like these containers once held some sort of prized and valuable wine. But it seems currently they are empty.
The outlaw would look at the what you said was a crank.
So basically, it's a large stone wheel attached to a kind of a pole, and so basically they would push on the pole, and the wheel would turn, and it would crush the grapes or whatever fruit was being fermented inside the wine press.
So is the pole? Where's the pole attached to? Is it attached to the wall? Is it just attached to the wheels? Attached to something else?
Let me see if I show this one more time. There, you should see an image pop up of the wine press.
Yeah.
So basically, the central basin has a pole sticking up out of the middle of it. You see the wheel, and then the pole goes from the wheel. It's attached to that central pole, so they can basically from the opposite side push, and the wheel will turn.
But how is it attached to the central pole? Is it just tied with
rope basically. It's tied.
Oh,
it's tied in a way that it slips, so it can spin around the pole.
Okay, then my outlaw would like to use her sword to cut the ropes and take the pole out carefully, so the big stone wheel doesn't crush the pole.
All right. Before you do that, then, as you approach, suddenly the painted face on the front of the wheel opens its eyes. It looks at you, opens its mouth, and you hear an unearthly scream as all of the doors and windows in the barn suddenly slam shut. All right. Was anybody waiting outside?
Yes.
Not for me.
If anyone was waiting outside, just put them at the bottom of your, basically your square or rectangle.
My dock worker, yeah.
All right. All right. So as this scream goes off, I need to save from everybody. Let me see where it was. There's a lot of stuff on this one. Okay, DC 12 will save from each character inside. So if you fail a 12, your character is going to be basically frightened. It'll have a -2 on its attacks and saves. Oh, so far everyone's failing. Got one save so far. The Halfling Mariner. Stout. The Halfling Moneylender going to burn some luck to... Okay, the Halfling Mariner, you're good. You saved. A 12 is what you needed. So a 12, so the Halfling Mariner is the only one. Everyone else, suddenly from this scream, overwhelms you, and you feel this terror starting to take you over. You'll have a -2.
I think the Moneylender also, because the Moneylender got 11 and I spent 1 luck.
Okay, yep, that's fine. All right, so the Moneylender and the Mariner both passed, and this is going to last for 2 rounds. So for 2 rounds, you guys are frightened and will have a -2 to your attacks. All right, and with that, I'm going to... target. It is going to be the Halfling Mariner. You are in there. You survived versus the fear. but I'm going to assign a status to you really quick to let me know that you are being targeted. All right. With that, the targeted person... Sorry, it's my first time running this, so I got to make sure I'm doing it all correctly. You guys are up. I think it's your turn. She does her scream, and then it's your guys' turn. You actually start to see, too, that a bunch of the weapons in this barn, some shovels, pitchforks, some kind of like cutting utensils and clubs, begin to glow and levitate. I think I actually have an image for you guys for this one as well.
Is she still screaming, or
she's no longer screaming? She did the one scream. She is not currently screaming anymore.
Okay.
So I should be able to share this with you. So this is kind of what you see, the face on the front of the wheel as all the tools and equipment begin to lift and levitate in the air. All right, with that, Blue, you are up. Elven Artisan, Elven Navigator.
All right, we will go... So there's these objects are attacking. Like, what do I look for targets?
The face on the front of the wheels, what screamed and frightened you all.
Yeah.
And then the tools are beginning to levitate.
All right, so the artisan will start. He'll take his staff and just try to like stick it right into the face, like kind of crack it right in the face of the wheel.
All right.
Obviously -2. So I think. So an 11.
With a 13, you smack quite hard against the wheel, and the face, you can tell, like the eyes, look in your direction, but it doesn't seem to do any damage.
Fuck.
Okay. So then the navigator will step behind the artisan because he's only got 1 HP, and he'll fire his short bow. He'll be like, you know, we got to test the theory. That's going to be a -2 on that, so we'll burn 2 luck to get an 11.
With an 11, the arrow hits against the stone wheel and shatters. I won't make you burn your luck for that one.
Okay. He's, all right, so that's it. The barrister, he was old. He might have wanted to come inside, but he didn't make it.
All right, that puts us up to the minstrel. Or sorry, the halfling mariner, if he wants to go first, if he can. It's all 3 of your
I want
characters.
the minstrel to go first.
Okay.
And so, because he's a bit of a ladies' man, he thinks maybe he doesn't have to fight. He's faced many a woman throwing objects at him that he's been able to calm down. So he decides to grab his ukulele and just start playing.
All right.
I will use luck on this. I will use 3 luck. I'll use 3 luck.
Using
I'll bring it up to
3
13.
luck to a 13.
Yeah.
A 13 still won't be enough.
Oh. Well, I have to try.
There is a personality check you can do. I would say playing music and stuff like that could work, but a 13 is not enough to get there. All right. With that, then, you still have your other 2 characters?
That's not 2.
So I think was it your outlaw that was already trying to go do something, or who was trying to attack the...
The outlaw was trying to cut the ropes on the pole.
Okay.
Do I re-roll that?
Yeah, go ahead and roll for that attack now.
That would be a 16.
Okay, that would definitely hit. Let's go ahead and roll
Does she
damage.
cut in the rope?
Go ahead and roll damage for it.
Okay.
It's fairly well secured, so you can tell it's probably going to take more than 1 strike. So that'll be 8 points of damage. And you can tell you've done a good amount of damage to the rope holding it to the central pole. Possibly 1 more strike, you could cut that off. 1 more good strike.
The halfling mariner will have the same mindset. as the minstrel, and he'll start helping out the minstrel and also trying to use a personality check to do something.
Okay.
Oh, well.
A 15 is enough. With a 15, what is the mariner doing to try to distract or stop the ghost from attacking?
He starts singing about the beauty of the woman in this stone wheel.
All right. It seems that the weapons that were looking menacingly and looking like they were starting to point at a direction begin to kind of placate and lower to the ground once again. Seems like you guys have bought at least some time. All right. With that, we're up to purple. So our halfling moneylender.
Moneylender's gonna walk up to the pole or to the stone, and it's going to attempt. So when I look at this ghostly figure, is it painted on, or is it a part of the stone? Does it look like it's made of?
It looks
paint?
as though it was some kind of dark red, burgundy liquid that was like hand drawn on the face of the wheel.
He's going to pick up some of the liquid in the mill in the press, smear it on his hands, and then wipe her eyes with it and try to cover her eyes in like smears of wine juice.
All right. So you don't have to roll for that. So as you do that and try to rub across the face of the drawing, all of a sudden the eyes turn to you, and you can see more of a face of anger as the weapons begin to levitate once again.
Oh no, I don't think it's working.
All right. On round 2, the wine press begins to turn by unseen hand as the wheel, you can hear it starting to grind and turn. The face somehow stays upright. It's not like the face goes around in a circle upside down. It seems to stay in place as the wheel turns and rolls around the press. As this happens, dark red blood from an unknown source begins filling the basin and starting to overflow out of the basin. I'm going to go randomly here that I think vintners were green, so that's the minstrel. So the minstrel, or the vintners red. Sorry, green, did I say you were Leddies, or sorry, red, were you vintners or were you Leddies? Do you remember?
I believe you said the reds were Leddies.
Leddies, okay, yep. So green would be vintners, so the minstrel came from green. So the minstrel, suddenly you see him like come back in shock and like hands on head and just say, "By the gods, the secret ingredient in Brandolyn Red was Brandolyn's crushed head. He crushed her head." And as this happens, we are going to say it's 1d2 plus 2. So basically I'll just roll a d4 here. So that will be 3 of the PCs. So right now I'm just going to say that's 1 of each of you. So the elven artisan, the minstrel, and the halfling moneylender. I'm going to need from you a will save. So the artisan, the minstrel, and the moneylender. Ooh, well done, minstrel. But the artisan and the moneylender fail. So the minstrel, you're able to fight off, in your realization, you're able to fight off the effects of this forced will. Suddenly, the elven artisan and the moneylender go up to the mariner and grab him by the arms and begin walking him over to the wheel. They grab him by his shoulder and force him over the wheel, so his head is now in the path of the wheel as it's coming around. The grinding sound getting closer and closer as this wheel comes around towards the mariner. What I am going to need now from the Mariner is a strength check.
I don't want to metagame this, but I thought the Mariner was safe for at least a turn because he got a successful personality check.
He was, but then the moneylender went and messed with the wheel. So right now, the moneylender or the Mariner was targeted from the entrance as a family member of someone that this ghost doesn't like. So you currently aren't being attacked by her specifically, but she's basically taking over and empowered, basically possessed the artisan and the moneylender, and they are now doing her will. And they've grabbed you and put your head in front of the wheel as it's coming around.
Sorry about that.
It happens. So do I have to do a strength check to save myself from it?
Yep, go ahead and do a strength check. 18 is a very, very good check. I believe...
Is that -2 because of the thing from before?
Sorry, one more time. Oh, minus? It would still probably be in a minus, so... But still a 16 is really, really good.
Yep.
2 versus... Okay, and then I need a strength check from the artisan and the moneylender. These will also be at -2s. I think the moneylender saved. So collectively, it looks like you've succeeded on the first one. So you're fighting back, and you're able to pull your head out of the way as the wheel goes rolling by, narrowly missing you.
Yeah.
All right. And that is it for her turn. These two, the artisan and the moneylenderer, for this next turn, go ahead and roll another strength check. $17 for the artisan and the moneylender. So that is a 13 and a 15, so I'll say a 14 average. All right. With that, what is the elven navigator doing?
He wants. Do you think it'd be easier to grab? He's gonna try and grab the guy and pull him out of the grapple.
All right, you can attempt a strength check as well. Not understanding why your family member is trying to crush the head of this other guy.
Yeah, at first he wanted to take the elf out, but now he's just gonna go grab for the guy whose head's almost got smushed. So
14 is just enough. So I'd say together you guys are able to pull him out. Let me get one strength check then from the halfling mariner as well. Basically, unless it's a crit fail, you're going to be saved here. Yeah, so with that, the two of you together are able to pull and free yourself. So again, as the wheel, you can hear the grinding of the stone come around just as you're able to pull your head out of the way. All right, the minstrel.
Are they still under the effects of confusion?
They seem to be.
Okay.
In fact,
The minstrel, seeing that the mariner's plane worked before, he's going to do the same thing, but this time actually mention Brandolyn. What's her name? Brandolyn Dragontear.
Brandolyn Dragontear was her original name. She was Brandolyn Vintner when she died.
Okay. Well, he'll say her name, but he will use her original name. I'll make that as a point. I don't know if that would be a plus or a minus or nothing.
I'll give you a +2 on this roll. So it puts you at 12. 12 is not enough.
I will use. At this point, I'll just use it. I'll use 2 luck. That's all I have.
All right. Don't go ahead and don't use that because that still only puts you at a 14, which isn't enough. So hold on to that 2 luck.
Okay.
Yeah, even with the 14, it wouldn't be enough to placate her anger currently.
Okay. The outlaw will continue what she was doing before and attempt to cut the ropes.
All right, that is definitely going to hit. So as you strike this time, you see the rope that's holding this whole contraption together begin to fray and come off. And as it does, the wheel stops spinning and slams down on its face. You seem to have stopped the wheel from spinning at this time, and the tools in the area seem to begin more rapidly kind of spinning around. But they don't seem to be moving towards anyone. They kind of seem to be aimlessly spinning around.
So she's probably blinded.
And I would say at this point, too, with that happening, the moneylender and the artisan started to feel control of their body coming back. And after a moment or two, kind of waiting to see what's going to happen next, the tools stop glowing and all drop to the ground. And all seems quiet at the meantime. Yeah, if you failed the... yeah, you're out of combat currently. So you're all seems quiet. If the Mariner had failed his strength checks there, it's 10d10 worth of crushing damage. To a 0 level character, that's overkill, but...
Yeah.
Alright, you seem to have survived your encounter with this angry spirit.
The outlaw will grab the pole with her original thought, and the minstrel will explain his theory that the Leddys, someone in the Leddys family, probably killed her by her reaction. And maybe she was working with the vintners, possibly. But the outlaw doesn't care. She just wants to get that stone thing moved. And the halfling baron is very disappointed. He couldn't find a drink.
Yeah.
He wanted to get drunk more than anything else.
Yeah, keep
I mean, is there still a bunch of blood on the thing?
There is.
Yes, definitely keep the stone face down. Can my moneylender have a peek inside some of those clay jars?
Yeah, go ahead. As you look inside the clay jars, 2 of them do seem like, it looks like they possibly were cracked at some point, and whatever liquid was inside of them drained away. The third one looks like a good amount of it has drained away, but it looks like there is still some left in it.
Oh, good. Okay.
It smells a bit tart.
The mariner this perks up with some. Can you share some of that?
Yeah, go for it. Drink away, sir.
Yeah.
I think that's blood wine.
He will taste it. He will taste it. I suppose there's anything cups, so he just cups it with his hands and starts sipping some.
You can find a utensil in this area that you can use as a makeshift cup of some sort, and you get it and take a drink out of it. It's barely drinkable, like overly tart and bitter, but is drinkable. It's fairly strong. So taking a sip or two from it, you say that this probably isn't the highest quality product the vintners produced.
No.
It's drinkable. So he goes for another sip and says, to the halfling moneylender, you should have a glass too.
Yeah. The moneylender will also take a sip, but once he tastes it, will decide not to have any more.
All right. No effects from drinking this. It does seem to be a mundane wine.
Well, okay. Well, does there seem to be anything else in this room that's...
That seems to be
lying
all
around
at the time.
Is there anything in here that could help us move that stone? Do the elves see anything like?
You definitely see quite a few tools.
He's moving the thing. He's like, could we just roll the stone like the thing?
You definitely notice like some hammers, there's a crowbar or two. There are some large pole type tools. So there is quite a bit of equipment. Definitely something you could find here to assist in moving that stone.
We could repurpose that rope from the wine press and use it to gain leverage on the giant rock and pull it. Everybody like tug of war, pull it.
The mariner agrees with this. but the outlaw is like, I can handle it on my own, and just uses the big pole to try and push the stone aside.
All right. As you grab these items and make your way back outside, the dock worker and elven barrister are able to join you guys after hearing all the commotion inside, not knowing what happened. While they were outside, too, they were able to get a better look at the building that's kind of in this area. It was on the opposite side of the barn from where you came in, and it looked to be an abandoned house of some sort. So you guys making your way over to the house, or did you want to go back over to the stone blocking the cave? Giant ants and angry spirits. It seems as though the old cage vintner's wife, Brandolyn Dragontear, did not die in a tragic accident as he told his family and friends, but was in truth murdered by her jealous husband, and her remains ground up and used to create that special vintage of Brandolyn Red. Her angry spirit possessed the wine press that took her life and nearly took one of the party members. Now the party looks to pick up the trail of those giant ants as they seek to recover Master Hort Leddy's head. Will they attempt to move the stone wheel blocking the cave, or move into the old abandoned house? And what horrors await? Find out next time on They Served Brandolyn Red.